Game changers. 6 techniques for installing good habits. Now that we have helped you eliminate the bad habits that are taking you in the direction, we need to create new choices, behaviors, and ultimately habits that will finally take you in the direction of your grandest desires. Eliminating a bad habit means removing something from your routine. Installing a new, more productive habit requires an entirely different skill set. You're planting the tree, watering it, fertilizing it, and making sure it's properly rooted. Doing so takes effort, time, and practice. Where are my favorite? Here are my favorite techniques for putting good habits in place. Leadership expert John C. Maxwell said, "You will never change your life until you change something you do daily. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine." According to research, it takes 300 instances of positive reinforcement to turn a new habit into an unconscious practice. That's almost a year of daily practice. Fortunately, as we talked about earlier, we know we've got a much better chance of cementing a new habit into our lives after 3 weeks of diligent focus. That means that if we bring special attention to a new habit daily for the first 3 weeks, we have a far better chance of making it a lifelong practice. The truth is, you can change a habit in a second, or you can still be trying to break it after 10 long years. The first time you touch a hot stove, you instantly knew you'd never make that a habit. The shock and pain was so intense that it forever changed your awareness. You knew you'd be conscious for the rest of your life around hot stoves. The key is staying aware. If you really want to maintain a good habit, make sure you pay attention to it at least once a day, and you're far more likely to succeed. 1. Set yourself up to succeed. Any new habit has to work inside your life and lifestyle. If you join a gym that's 30 miles away, you won't go. If you're a night owl but the gym closes at 6 p.m., it won't work for you. Your gym must be close and convenient and fit into your schedule. If you want to lose weight and eat healthier, make sure your fridge and pantry are stocked with healthy options. Want to make sure you don't binge on vending machine snacks when you get midday hunger pangs. Keep nuts and healthy snacks in your desk drawer. The easiest thing to grab when you're hungry is empty carbs. One strategy I use is to have protein on hand. I cook a bunch of chicken on Sunday and package it and have it ready for the week. One of my most distracting and destructive habits is my email addiction. Seriously, this is no laughing matter. I can lose hours of focus every day with the massive amounts of email flooding my inbox if I'm not vigilant about staying organized and focused. To set up the discipline of my new habit of only checking email 3 times a day, I turned off all alarms, all automatic receive functions, and shut the program down when I'm not in one of those 3 windows of allocated time. I have to build the walls around that time vortex, lest I keep falling in all day. 2. Think addiction, not think addition, not subtraction. When I interviewed Montel Williams for Success, he told me about the strict diet he maintains because of the disease that afflicts him, multiple sclerosis. Montel has adopted something called the add-in principle, and I think it's a widely effective tool for anyone with any goal. It's not so much what you attempt to take out of your diet, he explained to me, it's what you put in instead. This has become his analogy for life. And instead of thinking that he has to deprive himself or take something out of his diet, etc., I can't eat a hamburger, chocolate, or dairy. He thinks about what he can have instead. Today I'm going to have a salad and steamed vegetables and fresh figs. He fills his focus and his belly with what he can have, so he no longer has attention or hunger for what he can't. Instead of focusing on what he has to sacrifice, Montel thinks about what he gets to add in. The results the result is a lot more powerful. A friend of mine wanted to break his bad habit of wasting too much time watching TV. To help out, I asked him what he'd like to do with 3 hours of free time if he had it. He said he would play with his kids more. I also asked him to pick a hobby he'd always wanted to explore. His choice was photography, a total techie. He went out and got all his high tech editing equipment, which he happily toted along for more family outings so he could get great photos of his kids. Then he'd spend hours in the evening editing and putting together slideshows and photo albums for the whole family to enjoy. They ended up spending time together laughing and remembering how much fun they'd had. Because he was so focused on his kids and photography, he no longer had the time nor the desire to sit around and watch TV at night. He realized he'd been zoning out on it because it was an easy mental escape from his workday. By replacing TV viewing with his new habit of playing games with his kids and working on his photography hobby, he discovered passions with far more power and far bigger payoffs. What can you choose to add in so you can enrich your life experience? Go for the PDA, public display of accountability. Practice any public official. Picture any public official taking the oath of office. I do solemnly swear. And then comes the speech on how she turned her campaign promises into boots on the ground realities. Once she puts it out there on the public record, she knows that she'll be held responsible for any action that rolls back on her promises and praised for any progress toward her goals. What want to cement that new habit? Get Big Brother to watch you. It's never been easier with all the social media available. I heard about one woman who decided to get control of her finances by blogging about every penny she spends every day. She'd got her family, friends, and plenty of colleagues following her spending habits. And as a result of the many eyes of scrutiny, she became far more responsible and disciplined in her finances. I once helped a coworker quit smoking by telling everyone at the company, listen up, Zelda's decided to stop smoking. Isn't that great? She just smoked her last cigarette. I then placed a huge wall calendar on the outside of her cubicle. Every day she didn't smoke, Zelda got to draw a big fat red X on the calendar. Coworkers took notice and started to cheer her on, and the parade of big red X's started to fill up the chart, which took on a life of its own. Zilla didn't want to quit on that chart, quit on her coworkers, or quit on herself, but she did quit smoking. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell Facebook and Twitter. Get the word out that there is a new sheriff in town and you're in charge. 4. Find a success buddy. There are a few things as powerful as two people locked and arm marching toward the same goal. To to up your chances of success, get a success buddy, someone who will keep you accountable as you cement your new habit while you return the favor. I, for example, have what I call a peak performance partner. Every Friday at 11 a.m. sharp, we have a 30-minute call during which we trade our wins, losses, fixes, ahas, and solicit the needed feedback and hold each other accountable. You might seek out a success buddy for regular walks, runs, or dates at the gym, or to meet to discuss and trade personal development books. 5. Competition and camaraderie. There's nothing like a friendly contest to whet your competitive spirit and immerse yourself in a new habit with a bang. Dr. Mehmet Oz once told me in an interview, if people would just walk 1,000 more steps per day, they would change their lives. Video Plus, the partner company for Success, held a step competition using shoe pedometers to count steps. Employees organized into teams and competed to see which team could accumulate the most steps. It was amazing to me that people who didn't previously exercise for their own health or benefit suddenly started walking 4, 5, or 6 miles a day. At lunch, they walked in the parking lot. If they knew they had a conference call, suddenly they were out doing it on their cell phones while they walked. Because of the competition, they found ways to increase their activity. Everyone's steps were tracked, and the whole office could see who was slacking off and who was stepping up. People's step tallies increased every day. Yet, as soon as the competition was over, I was fascinated to observe that the step count completely dropped off the cliff by more than 60% just 1 month after the competition. When the competition was reorganized again, the step count shot right back up. All it took was a little competition to keep people's engines revved, and they got a wonderful sense of community and shared experience and camaraderie in the bargain. What kind of friendly competition can you organize with your friends, colleagues, or teammates? How can you inject fun, rivalry, and a competitive spirit into your new habit? 6. Celebrate. All work and no play make Jack a dull boy, and it's a recipe for backsliding. There should be a time to celebrate, to enjoy some of the fruits of your victories along the way. You can't go through this thing sacrificing yourself with no benefit. You've got to find little rewards to give yourself every month, every week, every day, even something small to acknowledge that you've held yourself to a new behavior. Maybe time to yourself to take a walk, relax in the bath, or read something just for fun. For bigger milestones, book a massage or have dinner at your favorite restaurant, and promise yourself a nice big pot of gold when you reach the end of the rainbow. Change is hard, yippee. There is one thing that 99% of failures and successful folks have in common. They all hate doing the same things. The difference is successful people do them anyways. Change is hard. That's why people don't transform their bad habits the way so many people end up unhappy and unhealthy. What excites me about this reality, however, is that if change were easy and everyone were doing it, it would be much more difficult for you and me to stand out and become an extraordinary success. Ordinary is easy, extraordinary is what will separate you from the crowd. Personally, I'm always happy when something is hard. Why? Because I know that most people won't do what it takes. Therefore, it will be easier for me to step in front of the pack and take the lead. I love what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said so eloquently. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort or convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge. When you press on despite difficulty, tedium, and hardship, that's when you earn your improvement and gain strides on the competition. If it's hard, awkward, or tedious, so be it. Just do it and keep doing it. And the magic of the compound effect will reward you handsomely. Be patient. When it comes to breaking old bad habits and starting new ones, remember to be patient with yourself. If you've spent 20, 30, or 40 years or more per repeating the behaviors you're now trying to change, you've got to expect it's going to take time and effort before you see lasting results. Science shows that patterns of thoughts and actions repeated many times create what's called a neurosignature or a brain groove, or a series of interconnected neurons that carry the thought patterns of a particular habit. Attention feeds the habit. When we give our attention to the habit, we activate the brain groove, releasing the thoughts, desires, and actions related to that habit. Luckily, our brains are malleable. If we stop giving attention to the bad habits, those grooves weaken. When we form new habits, we drive new grooves deeper with each repetition, eventually overpowering the previous ones. Creating new habits and burning new grooves into your brain will take time. Be patient with yourself. If you fall off the wagon, brush yourself off not beat yourself up, and get back on. No problem. We all stumble. Just go again and try another strategy. Reinforce your commitment and consistency. When you press on, you will receive huge payoffs. Speaking of payoffs, the next chapter is where we really start breaking away from the herd, where the multiplying effect really takes shape. With all the disciplined effort you've applied from the fundamentals of the first 3 chapters, here's where you get rewarded big time. Put the compound effect to work for you. Summary action steps. Identify your 3 best habits, those that support your most important goal. Identify your 3 bad habits that take you off course from your most important goal. Identify 3 new habits you need to develop to put you on track toward your most important goal. Download the habit sheet at www.thecompoundeffect.com/free. Identify your core motivation. Discover what gets you fired up and keeps you fired up to achieve big results. Download the core values assessment documentary at www.thecompoundeffect.com/free. Find your why power. Design your conscious, compelling, design your concise, compelling, and awe-inspiring goals. Download the goals sheet at www.thecompoundeffect.com/free. Order your copy of Living Your Best Life Ever, a proven system for achieving big goals from www.success.com/best-year-ever to guide you through the designing process as well as the achieving process all year long.